Elizabeth and I will be arguing that the federal minimum wage should be increased to $10 per hour. So the federal minimum wage first became a law in 1938, and at the time it was only 25 cents, and after adjusting for inflation it will be worth $4.19 today. Since July of 2009, the federal minimum wage has not changed from $7.25. Raising it could benefit Americans, the government, make housing more affordable, and increase the standard of living. Our first claim is that increasing the federal minimum wage would benefit Americans. So, according to the United States Census Bureau, 15% of the population, roughly 46.7 million people, are living in poverty. These 46.7 million people are considered below the poverty line because they make $24,250 or less for a family of 4 in 2015. There are many people who believe that the minimum wage workers are teenagers who just work for extra cash or just to help out their families. But according to Jared Bernstein, who was the chief economist and economic advisor to Vice President Joe Biden, the average minimum wage worker is 35 years old, and 88% of those who would be helped by an increase in minimum wage are over the age of 20, and half are over 30 years old. From this, we can see that the most minimum wage workers are not just people who are working for extra cash, but there are people who actually need to support their family, and also themselves as well. So, raising the federal minimum wage, it will not only benefit the Americans, but also it will benefit the government. So, raising the minimum wage will help to reduce the federal budget deficit. Professor of Economics Aaron Basiti states that the government should be lowering spending on public assistance programs and increasing tax revenue. Since firms are allowed to pay poverty level wages to 3.6 million people and 5% of the workforce, these workers must rely on federal income support programs. An increase in minimum wage would increase payroll and income tax revenue, so therefore it will bring the federal deficit down. Our second claim is that minimum wage workers cannot afford cost of living. So the current minimum wage is not high enough for people to afford housing. According to 2015 report from National Low Income Housing Coalition, a worker must earn at least $15.50 an hour, which is over twice the federal minimum wage, to be able to afford to rent modest one-bedroom apartment. And also, they need to earn $19.35 for a two-bedroom unit, which is more than 2.5 times the minimum wage. The report also stated that in no state can an individual working a typical 40-hour a week at the federal minimum wage afford one or two bedroom apartment for his or her family. There are many cities in the United States that are actually affordable rental costs, like the Rawlins County, Kansas. So for that county, MIT estimated that a person with no dependents, minimum wage should be $9.35 just so they could afford housing. Many minimum wage workers cannot afford healthy food because their low wages mean all their money is being spent on bills. So Alliance for a Just Society reported that in 2015, minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, half of the living wage for a single adult. They would have to work 93 hours a week just so they could make ends meet. So our third claim is raising the minimum wage would raise the standards of living. So with an increase in minimum wage, people will have enough to eat, be more likely to exercise, and they will suffer from fewer emotional and psychological problems, and overall live a healthier life. So a study shows that the minimum wage workers are more likely to report poor health and suffer from chronic diseases, and they're not able to afford balanced meals. Raising the minimum wage just to $9 would lift 300,000 people from poverty. And also, if we increase it to $10 an hour, it would almost lift 900,000 people out of poverty. And it would allow those people to live a little healthier life.